This girl is a whole lot of all right. All right, so we're a little bit overdue, but we are back to grinding. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. This is Chris. All right, it is Tuesday afternoon, but I need to move the cows. But they are gonna get a much needed chunk, bigger chunk, and they're gonna get moved on to the yellow water. And I've got a little bit of a plan for that yellow water. All right, so of course I had to make my moving the cows interesting, of course. I mean, why wouldn't that just be par for the course? So I have the sprayer on the back of the four-wheeler. Well, I'm going along and I quickly realized that, hey, remember you put the sprayer on there, but you really didn't tighten all the bolts down? You know, so I've got 4 bolts, 2 for the adapter, 2 for the sprayer to the adapter on both sides. Yeah, those are just kind of sitting there. So I stopped twice and kind of hand tightened them back up. So I am to the sacrifice area, which is still like, I mean, it's starting to soften up a little bit and the cows are they're gonna tear it up. But I'm actually getting a little bit of weed vegetation back. Around the water was completely dry 2 days ago until we got all this rain. But what I'm gonna do, I kind of had redefined this corner on the creek, or on this ditch a little bit. You can see some of my remnants, what I want to do is pull that back and smooth this out. I want to get rid of this line. I put in that T-post down there, that double T-post, and then I come back to this T-post. I want to get rid of this line and just simply bring a temp and then temp back that way. And then I can take this and I can break this up into like multiple sections so that if I do beat up a spot, I can move them over and move this opening into various spots of only where they're gonna graze. Granted, they're gonna have from the T-post, I'll probably give them over to like here. So the area that they kind of beat up the most, but give them a much bigger area for them to go through so they don't beat up as much as they did before. You know, just trying to give myself flexibility, trying to take some wear and tear off of that bank because ironically it's wet again. I started to get a little nervous there. But this is kind of what I was looking at. Again, this is that really bad spot. Oats are coming in a little bit. I definitely want to bale feed right in this area. At least one, maybe one back there. What I'm kind of thinking is that we move them today, bring a bale out tomorrow, move them the next day, bring a bale out the next day, the day after that. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But we got a double corner here, so that should be fine. And then temp line up over to that T-post. And I started to get a little nervous because I started to run a little short of line on the reel, because that really sucks when you get to the end of the reel and you run out. I maybe could have gone maybe another 15 yards, but I think this will work out pretty good. That was probably pretty good timing because this part just started to get chewed up a little bit, and I think most of that actually happened probably in the last half an hour that I've been out here. So let me get this closed up. I think I'm gonna walk around the cows, because if there is one thing about my content that I'm never gonna get sick of showing, and that's trying to highlight animals. Do we have the best animals? No. Do we have good animals? I think so. Some of them borderline on pretty damn good, but I think they definitely are nice. So I am not going to get sick of showing them. It's funny, I actually thought they would sit on this. This is another one of the spots we seeded. So this is oats coming up. I thought maybe they would park their butts on there. I mean, they'll eat it. All right, this is Whitey Gergs. That's our last calf. I mean, so she is, cripes, how old is she? June 3rd. So she is 2 months old. I mean, that is not a bad looking animal for 2 months. You know, and then I think this is the Bold Ruler heifer that is a February calf. She is put together really nicely too. She's definitely got some depth to her. I like that. This one's gonna be high on the maybe list. Oh, come on, Factor. Somebody must not have been actually in heat because nobody's getting followed. At least by this dude. Come on, bud. Yeah, this girl. This girl is a whole lot of all right. Yeah. I don't think she's gonna go anywhere. That is one thing. I've been waiting for 10 to have a nice heifer. And so far, I mean, granted, we haven't seen them have calves yet, but we like what we've seen out of Bruno's daughters so far. They've been developing. Here's Cora's kid. She's got a little bit more feminine head to her, but I like, she's got some nice length. And you got Helga's bull calf. And here's Cora. I definitely like Cora's temperament. She doesn't always let you pet her, but she's pretty cool. Here, FK53. So this is a first calf heifer. She's got that Bold Ruler bull calf I've pointed out a couple times. And here's Deja's heifer calf. Sport and Spirit. All right, who else we got out here? I think this, yeah, so this is a Bruno daughter. She is out of CF 913, so out of a True Justice daughter. And she's doing pretty nice too. And here's that 430 cow that I've pointed out a couple times. And we keep an eye on her and her calf because we want to make sure her calf is keeping up with the Joneses, as you say. More from a performance standpoint, because she definitely is not a high milker, but she must be a quality milker because her calf is right here. So her calf's doing pretty darn decent. So she is out, she's a Bruno daughter. Mom is a Hook's Blueprint granddaughter. And then her mom, her granddam, was our old 430. That was a gold mine daughter. But let's see here. How old was she? And so she was a late March calf. So she'll trend a little bit on the smaller side, but mom's still doing a pretty decent job. Is she blowing away the scales? No, but at least she's having a decent calf. Like this dude right here, this is out of DG75. And she just has good calves all the time. Where is 75? I don't point her out as much. I mean, he is a big dude. He is right there. He is right there with those two big bulls as far as size. She just has good calves every year. She is homegrown. And I'll tell you in a minute what her bloodlines look like. But this is DG75 right here. So she's not a knock your socks off cow, but she's a nice size. She's built decent. Temperament, she's pretty nice. I mean, you can't, she's not photo nice, but she's always pretty darn decent. How old is that 75 calf? Let's see here. 75. Oh, she's a youngin' too. She's the second to last calf. So she's the second to last calf. So she's a mid-May calf. So she is two and a half weeks older than Whitey Gergs' calf. Wherever that one went. Yeah, over there. Okay, DG75. Let's geek out on some pedigree, shall we? All right, so she is out of a bull that we just called Boss. It was Hasho Bull D101, and he was a range boss son. He was a range boss son out of a manifest daughter. So that's top side. So she sired out of a range boss manifest son. So some pretty nice stuff on the top. And then on the bottom, she is out of XD75 cow. Top side of her is another bull that we had gotten from Irwin, which was an upgrade out of a Dream On cow. A little bit of close breeding, but that bull was awesome. He was awesome. And then on the bottom is where we get a little bit. So the XD75 cow, when you look at her pedigree, she's a little bit close bred, because she's got quite a bit of Dream On, because she is out of a bull we just called Big Red, because he was a solid red, really nice bull, beautiful calves, Dream On son. Very, very nice. So yeah, but DG75, I think she took a lot of good from all of those guys and just turned out pretty darn decent. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, it is Wednesday afternoon, and today we are grinding corn. This is probably actually going to be the last grinding of the summer. It should last long enough, and the next time we grind corn, it's probably going to be for the calves. And I found a good one. Right here. That little guy. Yep. Just gonna hook up the wagon. So we're a little bit overdue, but we are back to grinding. I had a little bit of a surprise up there when I opened the door on the top. Apparently there's a hornet nest underneath the lid. So I got down pretty quick without falling. But this is probably going to be our last grinding of the summer. The amount that we feed out these steers, it'll take them all of the next 6 weeks or so until we need to grind again. And then we're gonna make some little tweaks to our mix. Not necessarily the mix itself, but the amounts that we do. Just kind of looking for a little better performance out of the mix that we've had before. Plus we got corn silage, hopefully. But yep, we're grinding. And for those of you who have seen us grind multiple times, you know what's going on. It's the same thing. Nothing really has changed. For those of you who have not seen us grind corn yet, and maybe this is one of your first times here, thanks for stopping. Glad to have you here. But what we do is we take cob corn that we pick. You just seen us take it out of the crib. We put it in the crib, or we put a pile up in the barn. We take that cob, we put it in this gravity box over here. This guy, Dad's doing his flow control job, and he does a great job at it. Somebody has to. I mean, Otherwise, it's just, it either doesn't flow or it does flow, and then it flows too much. But then we put it in the grinder here, and where it goes in, there's all these little, what are called hammers, that spin around really rapidly and force that stuff up against a screen. And what that screen does is help size your material as it's crushing it and kind of just beating the crap out of it. And then from there, what we do is we add another mix to it. We add this stuff. So that mix in that bag we get from our local feed mill. They mix it custom for us, and what's in there is a lot of ground up soybean meal, and then there's some other trace minerals, a product called rumensin, and all rumensin does helps with mostly helps with gut health, and it helps, then the gut health helps with feed efficiency. Lets these guys process and utilize the nutrients out of the feed better. And then there's a little bit of molasses for taste and all that good stuff. So we add that to our corn to kind of balance everything out, raise the nutritional level of the cob corn, a little extra protein, a little more energy, all that good stuff. And then once we go from there, from here, it goes up to here. And then from there, we put it in buckets and dump it out for the calves. And in this case, we dump it out for these guys, who, they're out here, they know what we're doing. They're gonna be really happy because it's been like 2 weeks since they've had any ground feed, which is definitely overdue, but with pain and weather and all that stuff, we just haven't had time to fit grinding it. But we did today. And just like that, happy cows. Yeah, these guys they are very happy. And the steers are looking really good. Even our project feeder heifer, who we'll probably butcher her this year. Don't know who she'll go to yet, but this will be the first time that we've ever finished out a heifer and done that. But she's turning out really, really nice. But everybody's doing really well. 10 is definitely leading the pack. He'll probably be in that first group. These two will probably be first, 29s and 10s. And then we still have our little cripple steer, but he's doing okay. We're probably still gonna ship him in the next week or two. We just talked about that yesterday. But from where he was, like back in March, April, he's still gonna make the farm some money. He's gonna do his job, and that's really all I want out of him. Just he needs to do his job. He got better. He's not really putting on any weight, but there's still a place for him. This bin will typically take 2.5 fillings of this hopper right here, and by then it's usually full. So this is our second one, then about a half, and we'll be good. Then when we go to unload this stuff, there's an auger that goes right here, drops it in there, and then that auger takes it up in the bin. The only problem that we'll have sometimes is if we put that third load is a little bit extra, then sometimes I have to crawl up on the bin and kind of shove stuff to the sides, because you can fit a little bit more in there, but it's not always going to flow right to the edges, so you got to get up there and kind of shove a little bit. All right, so we made a little bit of an extra size batch here, and because of the hornets, I'm not crawling up there. I wasn't able to get spray up there because of the wind. So we're going to dump the extra in the gravity box, and we'll back the gravity box up in the barn. and then we'll just take out of there, whether it's only at night or whatever. It's only going to be a few days worth of feed. It doesn't really matter. But that way it's out of the elements. We're not going to need the gravity box for over a month anyways. So, and we got the space up there right now. So in a span of a little less than 2 hours, we filled the gravity box, set up the grinder, ground corn, put everything away. All the extras are in the gravity box, up in the barn, and steers are fed. Did they eat everything we got them tonight? Just a little bit. They'll clean that up later. But now Dad can come and throw out a couple of buckets in the morning, and we gave them a little more than we usually would give them tonight since it's been so long. A little bit of a treat for them. But yeah, all right. It's the end of the video. I got other things I gotta do tonight. Hope you liked the video. Please hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. And as always, thanks for coming along.